Hey, what's happening, everyone? Aaron Jackson here with the Rotation Report, the Great Fed Pivot Edition. And first things first, go blue. Okay, going to be a great game Saturday. And I don't know. What do you think? Is Ryan Day going to get fired? He set a precedent that after embarrassing himself, he did recover and win the national championship. So, I don't think you can fire him after he loses to Michigan again. But hey, maybe not. Ohio State's looking pretty good. But let's get into the big topic of the day. Okay, so very interesting. You know, Wednesday it was right before that big Nvidia sell-off. It was a 30% chance of a Fed cut at the December meeting, December 10th. Okay. And then you get into Thursday and there's some scary Fed speak around and all this crap. So the market reverses hard, has that nasty day. And then Friday, you kind of get a wipeout. But you know what's looking like right now? We've got an 85% chance of a Fed cut at the December 10th meeting. So guess what? Guess what, shorts? You know, you're out of luck, bro. So real interesting stuff there. Let's get into it. Uh, oh, oh, Michael Burry. Did you guys hear about Michael Burry? My God, he said, he was, going on and on about the AI and his underwater puts, and that's great. Then he shut his fund down, and then he had a big surprise announcement. Guess what it is? Paid newsletter. This guy, unbelievable. Everybody's got a paid newsletter these days, including me, Rotation Report at Substack.com. You can get in for $10 a month. We're just sharing whatever. Basically, these charts, these reasoning, the fundamentals, all that type of stuff. But first chart here, we've got breadth, New York Stock Exchange advanced decline line. Basically, it's just the broadest measure of breadth in the entire market. And look where it is here. Nice little bottom spot, nice little stakes in the ground Friday. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that one because you can definitely say, hey, you get the Fed pivot. Look, the Fed needs to be easing a little bit. We kind of got a lot of refinancing to do. So, lower rates helps a lot. They should be cutting, yada, yada, kilo in the ground. Could be. And we're keeping an eye on the semiconductor index intraday. So, okay, this is intraday. This low here is last Tuesday. This high here is that Thursday massacre high. Friday, bears were really trying to press it on the open. Okay, you got this little extension level. They failed to. So your first target out of that would be the prior Tuesday low high. That was great. Nice little trade on Friday. It's kind of sold off into the close. But you come back to today, you recover that Tuesday low. Really good stuff. So we're now looking at that Tuesday low. I think your upside open target would be that Thursday high, a retest of that panic high or whatever the hell that was. So we'll see which happens first and then kind of go from there. But we like to see the volatility roll over. I mean, look at this VIX now. It looks like it's just going to puke itself. It looks like it's had 5 too many drinks. That's great. And then high beta versus low volatility. You had this kind of pivot area here. You had the breakdown on the freak out to the end of the week. And look at this little recovery here. So you love seeing that. And when we zoom out, you can see just a nice structural uptrend, just exactly what the bulls want to see. And really, just it pays to have that longer term perspective, right? Because the longer term bulls, you're looking at a bigger picture off the April lows. You're like, yeah, I mean, Nvidia can still roll over from here, and the structure of the market's pretty well intact. But we're keeping an eye on the dollar. It's not going away at this key resistance zone here, right around 100.5 here. This dollar index, keeps chipping away, and I think that's going to have an effect on the market regardless, whichever way that goes. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. Your guess is as good as mine because it's a real mess. But if you got one more pop through day, that's going to be really interesting moving forward. And then you can see like we've got Vanguard value versus Vanguard growth here. Big fake breakdown there, trying to turn the corner here. So it's a real good chance. Like we've got a real nice little seasonal window here into the holiday, Thanksgiving and maybe even a little Black Friday morning. You get this growth squeeze. But then what after the squeeze? Good question. It's a chance. There's a chance that you're going to be wanting to sell the rip in these growth squeezes and some of these real shit companies. So keep an eye on that. And then you look across the board, you've got materials. That's a nice little value sector there, still kind of holding up at the long-term pivot. Next up, regional banks. So that's an interesting one. Called it out last week. It looked like bear flag, breaking down. But hey, you get the little Fed pivot there. This chart's kind of morphing. So we'll see. You're definitely going to want to see new highs here to kind of change the tone a little bit. But no, definitely wrong about that. The chart's kind of changing here. We'd like to see that. Gives us more hope for the economy for sure. And then we've got here's the 7 to 10 year Treasury bond ETF, IEF. We mentioned that the other day. It's actually, trading higher. That's interesting. These bonds, these yields have had every chance to fall or to rip, but they're not. So definitely just goes right along with the dollar, just keeping a close eye on them. Definitely still lean that rates are going higher, but man, every time you say that, it just doesn't happen, right? And then one interesting kind of bearish piece of information today was junk bonds versus long-term treasuries did not confirm the rally, the rip. It was actually red for the day, right? So, don't like that, kind of stuck below the 200-day, not really confirming what we're seeing in stocks here. So definitely keep an eye on that throughout the week. And then, we've got all the big stocks, and here's the MAG 7 big tech ETF, MAGS, MAGS. A lot of stuff just tapping that 50-day moving average from below. So I don't know, something pops off overnight. Japan has some sort of, who knows, Japan yield spike, who knows what happens. A lot of 50-day moving averages right there. So you're going to want to see a little more follow through here. And who knows how that goes, because it's not the greatest. And boy, a lot of excitement in Alphabet these days. Gemini 3's out. They got their little photo editing app or whatever out too. Remember the spring, at 150 when they're like, oh, Google's the next Kodak. And well, now, Google has conquered the AI. And look at this thing. It has gapped out of the away from the upper Bollinger Band there on the daily time frame. And it's like, wow, that's pretty rare. You see it did it there, but then it kind of sold off. But there's so much excitement, it just accelerated and kind of had a pretty strong close actually throughout the day. And if we look at SanDisk, one of the hottest stocks in the market, this thing went up like 500% in 2 months and never even did what Google is doing today. So I think obviously, let's maybe pump the brakes on the Google, but I'm not going to tell you they're not going to win the AI. I think Gemini is pretty badass myself. It seems to me like they're going to win, but it's just like funny how that sentiment works, right? And then so we have this is semi-memory equipment, Nova Measuring Instruments, NVMI. And so you can see nice recovery there to start the week here, like a lot of things of this old high area. That's great. But the bigger picture here is I just wanted to point it out. It's like, we've got, we talk about levels and charts and all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, this algorithmic AI trading, it's basically just math nerds. Math nerds are trying to shake you out of your position. They're trying to break your conviction. They're just trying to break you, shake you out and then do this. So we have to out nerd the nerds, whether that is have the broad, be all over the market technicals and have a full picture of market technicals and be like, no, this is a bull market. You nerds are full of shit. Okay, that's great. Or you get on the fundamental story and be like, yo, these guys, their business is on fire and we love stocks that are just printing money. You nerds are full of shit. So that's the whole name of the game. It's just, hey math nerds, fuck you, you're full of shit. Okay, that's all we're trying to accomplish here in the markets, because that's what the AI markets are now, right? The trading, you trade too much, you're bound to be, at the whims of the math nerds. And next up, we've got B1 Medicines. This is formerly known as BeiGene. This is China's large cap biotech leader, whatever. And, they're either going to lead the world in the next decade of biotech, or at least they're going to pretend to. And we've been talking China tech and all the opportunities in your Alibabas and your Baidus, which Baba earnings out in the morning. So definitely keep an eye on that one. But here's China biotech leader right here, sold off pretty hard into the 50-day. Kind of really interesting here. But, you kind of give up the breakout, but we'll see how it reacts. If you get a big reaction, could be just another China name getting hot. And then here's Rocket Lab. So a lot of these growth names, amazing. They move so quick these days. big support area there. You can definitely see a retracement rally to 55, something like that, lower mid 50s for a trade. Nice little area there. Yeah, and we're seeing this kind of across the board in these like very expensive, very volatile, growth names. So I don't know. I don't see why it can't continue into Thanksgiving. And then here's Tesla. It's interesting, right? Is that a bear flag here under the prior base? I mean, definitely keeping an eye on that one. Not sure. Not sure. They said they're doing the chips now. They're going to make more chips than anybody in a couple years. So Elon's doing everything. He's doing the power. He's doing PT Musk over there, just doing it all. And definitely keeping an eye on this one moving forward. And shout out Vertiv Holdings, VRT. Okay, so we've seen, tech stock after tech stock. They had an October breakout, and you just lose the breakout. Earnings gaps fail, all sorts of shit like that. But here we are with Vertiv, last man standing on the tech breakout parade, and they are data center cooling. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. But shout out to them for being the last one. Pretty impressive. But you can see another one just testing the 50-day moving average from below here. So you get one more up day, you get a close above that 50-day. That's kind of interesting. Maybe it can make a rally. Maybe I think 220, 260. I don't want to get it wrong, but you get the picture. Like plenty of upside there if it can keep pushing here. Then value stock, sure. Why not? Why not? Value's okay. Here's Core Natural Resources. It's coal. It's coal. They got the steel making coal. They've got the thermal coal. They got it all. They've merged all the Mag 7 of coal into Core Natural Resources, right? So, nice little area here. We talked about this back test of the old breakout area, this 200-day moving average. Somebody's buying the shit out of it. Is it David Einhorn? Probably. So, me, you, and David Einhorn, that's a good group. That's a good threesome. And biotech's scorching hot. So let's just pick the least controversial name in biotech, Moderna. Okay, we got a nice little floor here. Somebody's been buying the shit out of 23. And look at that. Nice little break to 22 the other day when everyone's panicking about the market. And here we go, a little recovery. There's, I think it's 18% short interest there. So nice little time symmetry here. A few months on the left side of the base, few months on the right side of the base. Let's go. Let's squeeze some shorts. Let's go. Let's get after it, huh? I don't know. You get through this 200-day moving average. It's nice and flattened out here around 27. Could be a bottom. They've got a good technology. Now, you want to be, we can go a lot of different directions with that. But look, these healthcare firms, these big pharma firms, there's going to be some deals done pretty soon. You can just see it. You can just feel it in the price action, right? It's just a broad, revaluation higher in all of biotech, pharma, healthcare, etc. And here's another name, NetEase, China Gaming. We're talking about that China tech bottom. If we're not buying China tech and it's not working this week and next week, it might never be time to buy a China stock ever again. So, NetEase, nice recovery of the pivot here post earnings. Let's see a little more. You could, get some maybe 200 in the coming months. That'd be kind of nice. Oh, and a big biotech stock today. They're talking about the Novo Nordisk and, big gap down, ugly gap down. And you think about the biotech and just how strong it is. And it's a lot like that Moderna, right? You get the clear level here, 45, 47, something like that. Look at that. You have buyers time and time again. And finally, has everyone given up on the Novo Nordisk? So maybe it's a capitulation gap lower here. Definitely keeping an eye on 45, 47, that recent gap, the gap from Friday, whatever it was, 47, something like that. You get through that, and then you're really cooking with gas here, as this could be like a bottom formation. And then you're looking for like the move to 80. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And yes, finally, is it time? Is it time to bring back Ethereum dominance? We've got Bitcoin versus Ethereum since the middle of August. You see, it's kind of had this little corrective kind of outperformance for the last couple of months after Bitcoin just smoked it off that April low. And now finally, the 200-day is caught up. This is just a very corrective structure. Now that the US government's back open, there's going to be some more crypto legislation coming. So does that favor the stable coins? You do wonder. You do wonder. And even, we don't know when that's coming, but, we do know like nice floor areas in Ethereum and Solana around here. So very interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. And then what do you know? Tommy Lee back in the game here. Nice little fake breakdown right around the 200-day moving average. Do we have an entry? I mean, it's 31 right now. The risk would be 24. Also, you could just say, well, let's do more like the 200-day moving average on a closing basis, something like that. So you're not risking as much. But what do you think, guys? What do you think? Tommy Lee coming for it and into the end of the year. Santa Claus Tom coming. I don't know. Looks pretty damn interesting here. But that'll do it for me. And if you guys are still here and like the video, do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, whatever the hell. Appreciate all your support and hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and y'all have a great day.